I'm explaining the expansion cap that's installed as an upgrade or a retrofitted item. Even Aprilia dealerships are fitting it if you're suffering with a rattly engine on startup, particularly on hot startups. And what they've done is, on the Aprilia Tuareg you have a hydraulic cam chain tensioner, and the new item, I haven't got it yet, but it's basically a chamber that bolts on the end of it which stores oil. When you turn off the engine, the oil pressure that is fed to the hydraulic cam chain tensioner there, it will drop after time. It drops quite quickly on hot start up, so every time you're stopping and starting the bike, particularly when you're off-roading and pulling in or dropping the bike, every time you start up the engine it's rattling, because this rail here loses tension from the tensioner, and then the chain then slackens, and when the chain is slackened over time it can cause damage to the rail itself, break off the plastic here. You can also lose a little bit of timing, so it's more likely that the valve timing is going to be slightly out on startup and more likely to have, you know, overlap or piston slapping the valves basically. When the engine is running on a Aprilia Tuareg, the oil pump which feeds the tensioner is pumping oil to it, and that's what's giving it tension. When you turn off the engine, the oil pump stops feeding the tensioner, and then the rail then will move back, slackening the chain. On cold startups this item's not going to help so much, but because it's an off-roading bike you're going to want to start and stop it often, or if you drop the bike you're going to need to start it up again and again and again, and the more times you do that the more chances of rail damage, or eventually the chain can jump a tooth on the sprockets, and then your valve timing will be out, and then the piston can smash your valves. Obviously this is an extreme example, but in short it's just going to make it not so noisy on startup and reduce wear on the chain guides and the rails. When the item does come, it's basically, in short, a little chamber that bolts on the back of the hydraulic tensioner. You can see on this diagram, this is the Aprilia setup. That's the tensioning rail there. That's the hydraulic tensioner. That is the tensioner retainer, which I'll show you in a second. And part 16 is this stock item. It's just a cap. And part 17 there is the expansion chamber, where it's just a cavity of oil. And when you turn off the engine, that's still got more oil in there. So it takes a lot more time for the tensioner to lose its pressure against the rail because there's more oil in there. And that's basically it in short. Part number 13 on the diagram here is what Aprilia says, just make sure it doesn't come loose. It doesn't have any spanner flats on the outside, so when you undo part 16, the cap, it might loosen the tensioner retainer, which is number 13. As you can see in the diagram, there's an Allen key fitting inside, and that's what you just got to do to torque it up and make sure it's tight before installing the expansion cap there. And when you buy that, you will want the part number 15 is the compression washer. It's just a sealing washer. Yeah, it's quite an expensive item, so I'm going to see if it is worth installing. But anything that's belts and braces against potential engine wear or excessive wear is worth it for me. See, part 16 is the original part, which you remove and throw away, and then part 17, the expansion cap, is the one that we're fitting, the uprated item. And yeah, I'll get back to you when I've installed it and let you know my findings.